So after the first set of post-split fixtures last weekend, we now head into this weekend's set, and we have, of course, as you can see in front of you, a massive battle for third place going on after Aberdeen's victory over HIBS at the weekend has made the battle for third place extremely interesting, along with the fact that Dundee United have now got their hardest game left out of the way as well. So it's going to be very interesting in the run-in to see what ends up happening between these three clubs. Of course, as well, this weekend we have the final game of the season between newly crowned champions Celtic and Rangers. Rangers, of course, even though their season's over with in terms of winning anything, they will want to go out on a high and make sure that they come away with more derby victories this season than Celtic. Celtic, again, even though they've got the Scottish Cup final to play for, and arguably in terms of trophies, that's the more important game, they will not want to exit a season having more defeats in the derbies. They will want to rectify the previous two results and make sure that they are able to get that win back, as it were, regardless of the fact that whatever the result ends up being, it will not impact either of the two teams in terms of their league standings. In terms of the bottom half of the table, of course, we have Hearts, who have sacked Neil Critchley. They'll be looking to get the job done and make sure that they don't end up in a relegation scrap to end the season. Will they get that new manager bounce? We'll see. And of course, we have the other clubs surrounding, like your likes of Motherwell, Kilmarnock, Dundee, St Johnstone as well, and Ross County, who will be looking to avoid that relegation spot too, although St Johnstone looks like the end may be near for them. But without further ado, let's get into the predictions for the weekend's games. On to the first of the fixtures, we have Hibs against Dundee United. Of course, a massive game in terms of helping decide who will get that third place spot come the end of the season. Hibs, of course, will be looking to bounce back from that defeat away at Pittodrie, and Dundee United will be looking to get their post-split season underway after getting Celtic out the way. The question is, which one of them will be able to bounce back from last weekend's defeat? In my opinion, it will be Hibs, and they will win in front of a home crowd at Easter Road, getting what they hope to be campaign to finish third off and running post-split. I do think it'll be a close one. I'm going to go for 2-1 Hibs, though, in this case. On to St Mirren and Aberdeen. Of course, Aberdeen will be pretty pleased with themselves, kind of getting a wee bit of a season revival, if you like, with some of the results that they've been having of late. Out with, of course, that disappointing draw to Rangers. St Mirren, speaking of drawing with Rangers, will be coming away after the weekend wondering how they didn't actually pick up the 3 points, it seems. But if they had picked up those 3 points, then they may have done a late push for fifth place. I still don't see that happening personally, and I don't see them taking any strides towards that. I am going to go for, again, another close one, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Aberdeen win. So, Dundee versus Motherwell. Tough one to call. Motherwell, of course, higher up in the table, but they've been very hot and cold all season. They came away with a narrow victory at the weekend, of course. But Dundee, they'll be riding a wee bit higher after getting the points against Hearts as well, costing Neil Critchley his job. I still think Dundee will get the job done in this game, though. And I do believe that they will get the job done 2-1, just like Aberdeen will get the job done 2-1. And I think, did I say 2-1 Hibs as well? So there's a lot of 2-1 predictions. The scoreline doesn't matter, as long as you get the prediction of the result right in the end. That's the main thing. So Dundee to win 2-1 against Motherwell. On to Ross County against Hearts. I mean, because it's in Dingwall, you might give Ross County a chance. Hearts, I just think, are going to get the new manager bounce, and that will result in another 2-1 win. I know I'm going for a lot of 2-1s at this point, but I'm going to back Hearts to get the new manager bounce and come away with a win to all but make them safe from that playoff spot, you would say. Ross County will be desperate to avoid a playoff for the third season in a row. So they will, of course, have a bit of motivation to win this fixture as well. But I am going to go for a Hearts victory here. St Johnstone versus Kilmarnock. St Johnstone maybe at one point last weekend might have thought that the comeback was on and that they were going to survive. But I think it's all but the final nail in the coffin for them now. I just think there's too many points to claw back and too many variables for them. So I do believe that they are going to end up going down, unfortunately for them. They've been in the top flight for a long time. Of course, over the last 20 years, they've been very successful in cup competitions as well. So it'll be a shame for them to go down. But in this fixture in particular, I am actually going to go for a draw because Kilmarnock are very poor away from home. So I'm going to go for a draw, a 1-1 draw in this fixture. And on to Sunday's fixture, the final derby game this season between Rangers and Celtic. It's, of course, at Ibrox. And as stated before, both teams will have motivation to win, despite the fact that this game has the least amount of bearing on the league season as a whole compared to the other clubs. But the question is, how will it go? Will Rangers kind of field a disjointed team as they have been in the last few league fixtures, resting players for the Europa League, but in the last case, maybe giving some people a run out to see what they're made of? I mean, lining up with a back five against St Mirren caused a lot of criticism. Will they line up with a back five against Celtic? I mean, you would argue that that's the formation that got them the result at Celtic Park, but if they were to line up with a back five at Ibrox, would that be well received by the Rangers support? Celtic, of course, their fans will be going for a title party, but they will want to see a win. Will Celtic rest players for the Scottish Cup final? Of course, Jota came away with an injury scare against Dundee United last weekend. Will they want to risk any more players picking up injuries before the Scottish Cup final? But again, the motivation will be there to win this game. So I would argue that Celtic's squad depth is a lot better than Rangers' squad depth. So if both teams rotated, then I think that would give Celtic the edge. Rangers, of course, have the home advantage, but it's their home form that has needed a lot of work, particularly under Barry Ferguson. He hasn't won a game at home yet. Will that change this weekend? I don't think so. I'm just going to go bold for this one. High scoring affair. Rangers 2, Celtic 4. And that's going to wrap up the predictions for this weekend's round of fixtures for the Scottish Premiership. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is the 100th video on the channel as well, so thank you very much to all the viewers and subscribers as well. And we are fast approaching 600 subscribers after only just surpassing 500, so thank you very much for that as well. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.